operational. Obviously, hostilities in the area are making regular activity difficult. We are aware of a number of Indian citizens, particularly students, who continue to be in cities in the east of Ukraine and the southeast of Ukraine. Unfortunately, these areas continue to be live conflict areas, and it is generally deemed unsafe for people to move around freely. We will try to find suitable evacuation modalities for them too, once feasible. Our embassy in Kiev has tried to maintain contact. We have also tried to maintain contact from Delhi, but we keep issuing advisories to them as we go along. Let me convey to friends that I today called in both the ambassadors, both the envoys of Russia and Ukraine separately, conveyed to them our deep concerns on the safety and security of Indian citizens, particularly students based in Ukraine. I have shared with them, we have shared the locations where Indian students are concentrated and Indian citizens are concentrated for ensuring their protection. Both ambassadors did take note of our concerns and assured us that they are very cognizant of the safety and security of Indian citizens in what is really a conflict zone in Ukraine. We have also contacted the International Committee of the Red Cross in Geneva. Our permanent representative in Geneva has spoken to the president of the ICRC. The ICRC is commencing its operations in Ukraine. We have told them, we come down to Uzhgorod, and from Uzhgorod every 2 hours there is, from a place called Chop, every 2 hours there is a train which will take you straight to Hungary, to Budapest in Hungary. It's about a 7 to 8 hours journey, including exit procedures. So this is a direct train, and this might be an option that we are recommending to our people. So let me summarize what I'm saying is that we are asking our citizens to move westwards. There are also trains from Kyiv. There are other options that you can take, road and rail. Move towards the west. Take the most appropriate border staging points as areas that you can move out from, and then leave the country in accordance with the advisories that we will issue. Now, we have groups of our citizens who are crossing the border. All along on these 4 countries, we have our teams, embassy teams that are there to assist them in the border crossings in each and every of these countries. And as we speak, we are also sending more people to these embassies to facilitate that process. We have a problem staying in the places within Ukraine because we've been asked to move out from the area. We have to, as I said, remember that there is a martial law in Ukraine, that there is a situation which is not normal, and as a result of which we are not exactly in control of how we can operate and what we can do. The other modification we have made is that we had shared the cell numbers of our teams that are in, mobile teams that are in operation along the border areas. We found that it was not feasible for our teams to both function as well as to take calls. So we have established hotlines in each of our embassies, each of the areas, 4 countries that are involved. And those hotlines will be the interface between our citizens and those of our teams that are actually there to assist in the border points and facilitate the crossings. The ministry would also take out a 24/7 hotline, which would be open in terms of social media. We would provide inputs, advisories, guidance as often as possible. So please look out for that. Now, let me also point out that the area around Kyiv seems to be a conflict area. The area in the east of Ukraine, which is Kharkiv, Suma, and down, of course, these are all conflict areas. And then if you come down towards the Crimea, you see the Odessa area, these are conflict areas. And here, obviously, our advice is to stay as carefully within shelters as possible, unless we have advised otherwise. We have sent a team now, that is the latest development. Our External Affairs Minister has spoken to the Foreign Minister of Moldova. Yesterday he spoke to the Foreign Minister of Hungary. And we have sent, we will have a team in Moldova in place by tomorrow morning. This team will facilitate the crossings of our citizens who are around Odessa and that area, because that is a problematic area also, and we will try and facilitate their crossings into Moldova and then Romania, where they can be picked up to be brought back to India. So this will give you a very brief sense of the lay of the land and how we plan to ensure that we get as many of our citizens out as quickly as possible in as orderly a manner, given the within the constraints of the situation that is unfolding before us. If we can. Thanks. Yeah, here you can see the location of our various MEA teams that are in different parts of the country, essentially along the borders with Hungary and Slovakia, with Poland, and down with Romania and Moldova. These are where our teams are located. They keep going in and out of Ukraine, but they are along the border areas there. Next, please. These are all the flights that you have. You see, 4 flights have already concluded. 4 flights have either brought or bringing people back as we speak. There are another 2 flights which are, going to be leaving tonight and tomorrow. And there is a range of flights. If we can go to the next also.
This covers all of it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there is a range of flights that we have already scheduled. And essentially our plan is to ensure that as we have a number of our citizens in any of the points that are there, a flight is ready even before they get there. So the idea is to minimize the time that they have to spend at the airport. We have, through our Ministry of Civil Aviation and with the cooperation of all the airlines, organized a number of aircraft that are ready to go at short notice, pick up our citizens and bring them back to Delhi. So we also wanted to give you a sense that the fact that this is not the easiest situation that we can deal with. I know that there is a lot of concern from the point of view of parents, family members of those who are there. The Ministry of External Affairs, under the direct supervision of the External Affairs Minister and the overall guidance of the Prime Minister, is doing everything possible to make sure that the safety, security and the interests of our citizens in Ukraine are given the highest priority. The essential points that we wanted to make was that we are innovating on the ground as we speak. We are taking the steps necessary that would ensure that we have the best possible options before us as we keep moving along. One more point, yes, which I wanted to add. If we can go back to the map, we will see, if you go to the areas of Kharkiv and Suma in the eastern part of Ukraine. Now, these are conflict areas, and we have asked our people to stay as safe and secure as possible. But we have also sent a team from our embassy in Moscow down to the border areas to prepare for the eventuality where they can be evacuated from there. In other words, we are arranging accommodation, we are mapping out routes, we are looking at transport. So we are doing what we can to get them out as and when we can. I already mentioned that the International Committee of the Red Cross is also working with us, and they will also be on the ground there. This is a conflict zone, and we have to be very cognizant of that factor. But my conversation with both the Ukrainian as well as the Russian ambassadors was reassuring, and I think I got every sense that we will get their fullest support when it comes to the interests and well-being of our citizens in Ukraine. I will stop there.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a very comprehensive presentation. I'm sure I can see some hands going. Take a few questions. Let me start with this, since you raised your hand first. Neeraj Pratap.
सर, नीरज न्यूज 18 इंडिया से 2 सवाल हैं। पोलैंड की बॉर्डर से बहुत ऐसी खबरें हैं कि बहुत सारे भारतीय छात्र जो हैं वहां जमा हो गए हैं, उनको निकालने के लिए क्या कोशिश हो रही है? और अभी आपने एक महत्वपूर्ण बात की, अभी हम लोग थोड़ी देर पहले एयरपोर्ट पे थे, वहां बहुत सारे लोग कह रहे थे कि भारत ऐसा क्यों नहीं करता कि रशिया के रास्ते बहुत सारे छात्रों को निकालता है, खार्किव में जो फंसे हैं, सुमी में जो फंसे। तो आपने जो जिक्र किया कि आपकी टीम वहां उस इलाके में भी पहुंच रही है, बॉर्डर एरिया में, उसको हमारे सामने हिंदी में भी रख दे, क्योंकि जो लोग हैं, बहुत सारे लोग हरियाणा हिंदी भाषी प्रदेशों के, वो जानना चाहते हैं कि रूस से आखिर क्यों नहीं कोशिश की जा रही है, रूस के माध्यम से।
So Siddharth from Beyond, my question is, there are reports of Indian students being attacked by the forces on the Ukrainian side, especially when it comes to border with Poland. If you can give some details, is it true, or in a sense that the MEA teams are reaching out to the authorities so that violence is not used against these Indian students?
Okay, we'll take the one more.
सर, मधुरेंद्र, न्यूज नेशन से। मेरा सवाल है कि ऑपरेशन गंगा की ताजा स्थिति क्या है, अगर आप विस्तार से बताएं। कितने इंडियन अभी तक निकाले जा चुके हैं और कितने अभी तक शेष हैं, और हमारे प्लान के मुताबिक कितना समय और लगेगा इस पूरे ऑपरेशन को कंप्लीट करने में?
Okay, so we'll take the last there. Shinja.
So, you spoke about the situation in the east and southeast of Ukraine, places like Kharkov. Now, could you tell us, please, how many Indians, including students, are there in an area that you would say is east of Ukraine or southeast of Ukraine, of the 15,000 or 14,000 left?
नीरज जी, आपका जो प्रश्न था, आपने ये पूछा कि जो इलाके रूस के आसपास होंगे, जो यूक्रेन के जो इलाके हैं, उनमें जो हमारे नागरिक हैं, उनका इवैक्यूएशन का क्या प्लान है। तो इसमें मैंने आपको बताया कि हमने हमारे एम्बेसी जो मॉस्को में है, वहाँ के एक टीम जो कि हमारे फर्स्ट सेक्रेटरी और उस लेवल के लोग को हमने भेजा है, ताकि जितना भी वो एरिया है वहाँ का पूरी तरह मैपिंग हो जाए। वहाँ के लोगों को मिल के जो इंतज़ाम हमें एडवांस में करना है, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का इंतज़ाम, रहने का इंतज़ाम, खाने पीने का इंतज़ाम, वो सब पहले से हम तैयार करें। अभी तो ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन है, जैसे हमें सूचना मिलेगा कि इस एरिया से हम हमारे नागरिकों को इवैक्यूएट कर सकते हैं, तो वो ऑप गंगा वहाँ पे ऑपरेशनल हो जाएगा। हमारी यही उम्मीद है, और मैंने आपको कहा कि मेरी आज दोनों यूक्रेनियन एम्बेसडर और रशियन राजदूत से भी मुलाकात हुई। उनको मैंने यही पूरी तरह मैंने इनका समर्थन मांगा कि जो हमारे नागरिक हैं यूक्रेन में, इनका देखभाल, इनका सुरक्षा, ये हमारे लिए 100% प्रायोरिटी है, और उनको भी इसका पूरी तरह ध्यान देना होगा। तो उन्होंने मुझे आश्वासन दिया कि वो सब उनकी तरफ से जो कुछ कर सकते हैं स्थिति देखते हुए वो ज़रूर करेंगे, कि हमारे जो लोग हैं उनका जो सेफ्टी पर, उनका जो इवैक्यूएशन प्रोसीजर्स है, उस पर भी उनकी तरफ से पूरी तरह हमें समर्थन और सहायता मिलेगी। आपने पोलैंड का बॉर्डर के बारे में भी बात किया। उसमें हमने देखा कि काफ़ी हमारे स्टूडेंट्स, हमारे नागरिक हैं जो वहाँ पे फंसे हुए हैं, क्योंकि ये मेन बॉर्डर क्रॉसिंग है। लाखों लोग इस बॉर्डर क्रॉसिंग से निकल रहे हैं यूक्रेन से बाहर। वहाँ पे काफ़ी भीड़ लगी हुई है, काफ़ी ट्रैफिक जैम लगे हुए हैं, तो उसमें इस स्थिति में काफ़ी डिलेज हो रहे हैं, और ये हमारे नागरिकों के लिए काफ़ी परेशानी दिला रही है। तो हम इनके साथ संपर्क में, हमारे नागरिकों के साथ जो वहाँ पे हैं, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, हमारा एक प्लान भी है जिसमें हमने कहा कि एक जगह है उश्कोरोड, जो कि हंगरी और स्लोवाकिया के सीमा के आसपास में है। वहाँ से ट्रेन भी है बुडापेस्ट के लिए, वहाँ से ट्रांसपोर्ट की अरेंजमेंट्स भी हैं। तो आज ही मेरी हमारे राजदूत जो हैं बुडापेस्ट में, उनसे बात हुई है। उन्होंने कहा कि मैं पूरी तरह इंतज़ाम कर रहा हूँ ताकि हमारे जितने भी नागरिक उशोग्राड की तरह जाएं, उनके लिए कुछ शेल्टर मिलेगा और कुछ बंदोबस्त होंगे वहाँ पे। और जैसे ही ये ट्रेन्स, ये या तो रेल बाय रेल या रोड, हम इनको निकाल सकते हैं वहाँ से, उस इलाके से हम इनको इवैक्यूएट करके हंगरी में ले आके वापस बाय एयर भारत भेजेंगे। तो मेरे जो कहना है कि परेशानी तो हो रहे हैं और काफ़ी तकलीफ भी हुई है हमारे नागरिकों को, पर जितना हम कर सकते हैं कि इनके परेशानियां दूर करें, इनको जितना ही जल्दी मतलब मदद और सहायता मिले, हम उस पे लगे हुए हैं। और मुझे लगता है कि 1-2 दिन में जो भी है, हम इनके जो हमारे नागरिक वहाँ पे हैं वो हम इनको इवैक्यूएट कर देंगे। Siddhant, your question was about Indians facing problems on the Poland border. I had a specific conversation with the ambassador of Ukraine on that issue, and he has been very kind. In fact, his deputy chief of mission is working round the clock only to help our people on that area. They are calling up people who are from their border and immigration authorities on that point. They're talking to their people in Kiev, but you have to understand their preoccupations are in a different way. But they have been very, very, I would say, helpful. And I did tell them that, we expect in every way that they would assist in facilitating the safe and, to the extent possible, hassle-free evacuation of our citizens. So we are working on it. Please bear with us that it's a difficult situation. It's a conflict zone. There are priorities that are elsewhere. Within those constraints, we will do everything possible to get our people out. Our team is working flat out to get that objective achieved. माधुरेंद्र जी, आपने ऑप गंगा पे एक जनरल सवाल पूछा। यूक्रेन में तनाव की स्थिति उभरते ही आपको बताया कि भारत सरकार ने भारतीयों को और खासकर से हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को सुरक्षित वापस लाने के लिए ऑपरेशन गंगा शुरू कर दिया है। जैसे कि आप जानते हैं, यूक्रेन के पश्चिमी इलाके से भारतीय और पड़ोसी देश जैसे कि रोमानिया, हंगरी, पोलैंड और स्लोवाकिया गणतंत्र के रास्ते से बाहर निकाला जा रहा है। इन सीमाओं के नज़दीक कैंप ऑफिस तैनात की जा रही हैं और सीमाओं पर हमारी और मंत्रालय की टीम 24 घंटे वहाँ पे मौजूद हैं। अभी तक 1000 से अधिक लोगों को रोमानिया और हंगरी से रास्ते से सुरक्षित निकालकर वापस लाया जा चुका है।